Federal government approves the release of more than 40,000 metric tons of grains for the poor. Asia-Pacific stocks mixed as data shows China's exports rose more than expected, and oil prices ease on weaker economic data from China and Japan. This is Business Express on the network service of the NTA, and we are reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Welcome. It's that time we talk business on the network service of the NTA. I will start by telling you that President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the release of more than 40,000 metric tons of assorted grains from the Strategic Grains Reserve for distribution to the poorest of the poor in the country, especially during this festive season. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, announced this while addressing journalists shortly after being summoned by the President.
This is to cushion the effect of some of the issues we are facing with high prices of commodities across the country, and also to cushion this during these festivities, Ramadan, Easter, Salah, so that there will be a little cushion for the people during these festivities. Not just as the Federal Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, but also that will be giving some of these grains also to the humanitarian ministry also to also do the same distribution. The grain is coming from our grain strategic reserve directed by Mr. President.
The minister said the same process deployed during the COVID-19 lockdown to distribute assorted food items in parts of the country and the Federal Capital Territory would be adopted.
There is really no sharp drop in productivity or in agricultural production. There is still food, and people are still cultivating in all parts of the country. Some of the areas where it has some security implication, yes, it may have a little drop, but the government is doing everything humanly possible to make sure that production continues in other parts, and even areas where there are issues. The government is doing whatever it takes. Like the Ministry of Agriculture, we have agro rangers who sometimes provide some kind of security cover that will make sure food production does not stop. I can assure you that we don't have problems with food production at this point. Yes, indeed, the Russian-Ukraine conflict, yes, is an issue of concern. As a result of that, Mr. President has directed that we sit and discuss, and not just the Minister of Agriculture, but NALDA, NCFI, all of those that are concerned, the Central Bank. We have met 2-3 times to discuss the issue of Ukraine. Yes, indeed, Nigeria imports grains and other agricultural input from Ukraine. We are making sure that we look inward and outward to make sure this conflict does not affect our agricultural sector. But the most important thing is to up our own agricultural production. And this without saying, you know, that no administration in recent times that has given the agri sector such an attention and funding as the current administration of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari.
Federal government is mobilizing engineers to commence repair works at the vandalized transmission tower in Akwa Ibom State that led to nationwide power outage last week. The ministerial delegation on assessment of the damaged infrastructure also engaged state government on synergy to protect power facilities.
Power sector, we are doing our best to make sure that we provide a better supply to Nigerians. And I have already engaged a contractor to come and repair these things. So I'm assuring Nigerians that it will not take time. This tower is going to be erected, and we are going to supply good electricity to Nigerians within a shortest period of time.
We are aware of the vandalization of equipment that is going on. We have put the structure in place to hunt down the people that are responsible, and I'm sure some arrests will be made if none has been made already.
And the Code of Conduct Bureau, Go-Getters and the Ministry of Finance have renewed cooperation through staff training on the 14 codes of conduct for public officers in a bid to promote transparency in service delivery. This was the fallout of a 2-day workshop on strict compliance with assets declaration for the staff of the ministry in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
Service to fatherland is a thing of pride for the civil servants. Equally important is retraining to equip them on transparent conduct in the discharge of their duties. This training is particular on asset declaration and accountability in government business.
We have the mandate of the Constitution of Nigeria to establish and maintain high level of public morality in the conduct of government business in this country. And it is our assignment to ensure that public officers, wherever they may be, their actions and their behavior conform to the highest public morality and accountability.
And when people don't know what they're supposed to do, they cannot do the proper thing. So civil servants who don't do what they're supposed to do is not out of deliberate intention, it's because they don't know any better. So this provides a forum whereby people will know what to do and how to do it properly and better educate others.
The 2-day workshop is to instill new vigor in public service. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, on Tuesday cut its forecast for growth in world oil demand in 2022, citing the impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, rising inflation and crude prices, in addition to the resurgence of the Omicron coronavirus variant in China. In its monthly report, OPEC said world demand would rise by 3.67 million barrels per day in 2022, down 480,000 barrels per day from its previous forecast. February saw oil prices soaring above $139 a barrel, the highest since 2008, and worsening inflationary pressures as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. OPEC says while it is forecast that both Russia and Ukraine will be facing recessions in 2022, the rest of the global economy will be impacted as well. The strong rise in commodity prices, in combination with ongoing supply chain bottlenecks and COVID-19 related logistical logjams in China, are also cited as reasons for growing global inflation. As security operatives work to mitigate crude oil thefts and the pipeline vandalism, some of Nigeria's highly trained personnel have continued to pay the supreme price. Lydia Sampson reports.
We have a lot of illegal refining camps, and as soon as you remove the illegal refining camps, before 24 or 48 hours, they are coming back. So the way we are working is the same way the criminals are also working.
The commander joined Task Force Operation Delta Safe, giving insights to the activities of crude oil vandals. The task force cut across 10 oil-producing states, comprising special squads from different security agencies. This officer paid the supreme price. However, his colleagues are not giving up. Flying over from Port Harcourt to Bonny, the area view indicates massive destruction on the environment and the source of livelihood of the communities. At the 146th Battalion in Bonny River State, Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Irabo and the Minister of State Petroleum Resources Timipre Silva, who commended the gallantry of the officers, say there's still more ground to cover.
Well, actually, it's a value chain. Our drive is to look at the rungs of the ladder, the chain within the oil and gas space. So we're not just zeroing on those who are the actual criminals, but also that are those who are supporting them, those who are sponsoring them.
Our nation depends on these assets to survive. Henceforth, we'll be working closely with you to ensure that there is zero loss to our production.
Ironically, in the midst of these selfless efforts, there may sometimes be some bad eggs, and the Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Irabo vows they will not go unpunished if caught. The key player said the renewed efforts will ensure a sustained impact on the ongoing war against crude oil theft, illegal refineries and pipeline vandalism. They are optimistic that rallying the communities, operating companies and all stakeholders will be game-changing. Lydia Sampson.
Well, joining me to talk more on oil theft and how it is affecting economic development in the country is National President Petroleum Products Retail Outlets, owners of Nigeria Petron, Dr. Billy Gillis Harry. Doctor, you're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you so much, Ben, and thank you, Nigerians, for watching.
Good to have you, and we're talking about energy and what it does to our community. Well, government officials say about $3.27 billion is lost to oil theft. And that report we saw before now, we saw efforts of government, the armed forces, the Nigerian Navy, the Air Force, as well as the Nigerian military, doing whatever it is. You see, by the time we chase these oil thieves, 24 hours after they are back with $3.27 billion. Can you tell us the quantum of revenue lost to this?
Well, clearly, from the report, you can see that the minister has given the figures of the loss. The authorities in NNPC has also corroborated those facts, and you can see the Chief of Defense Staff physically being present to try to encourage the security agencies and ensuring, that these vandalization of crude oil assets and the pipelines taking them is mitigated. The reality is that such an amount of money being stolen out of the country, where is it being plugged into? Is the most critical question that needs to be asked, because that is an humongous amount of money. Where is the stolen crude oil taken to? Where is it? Who patronizes them? In today's world,
these are questions that should be asked, because yes, if you look at audit report by the extractive industries talking about NTA, which is here, you can see it 39.18 million barrels of crude valued at $44.73 million was stolen, with 349 cases of pipeline vandalism recorded in 2020, which is to say these vandals go after these pipelines, they get to bust them open, and this quantum of crude is being stolen. Like you said, who is patronizing this particular product, yes, crude? Because yes, there is some level of refining, local refining. Even the refined products, who patronizes that? Are these oil thieves exporting this product? We know it's the NNPC that is the sole exporter of this crude. Can you tell us how bad this situation is? You are coming from that region, and with the PIA we have, how can this be curbed for the benefits of all Nigerians?
Well, first of all, I mean, we all sympathize with the authorities and the NNPC in the very grueling negative impact this has on our economy. As
well as the environment.
And the environment is coming. I'm going to address that, because the environment for me is even much more devastated than the monetary losses that is being discussed. As we are talking about a population size of about 17 million people actively living in these environments, and such level of pollution by the act of vandalizing the pipelines are spewing into the river and then into the mud flats and into the grasses, the forests. Of course, the damage is very high, and it's going to impact on us not just even today, but for many, many, many years to come. but minimum of 100 and something years. So by the time our children are coming up, this is going to be something that is going to be a massive mess for them to tackle and try to mitigate. Well, the amount of money that is accrued to this is a lot of money. If that amount of money is put into Nigeria's economy daily, of course, we're not going to be talking about loaning 1.3 trillion, 3.6 point something trillion naira to be able to, augment our budgetary deficit.
Budgetary financing.
So the fact that such massive theft is being perpetrated,
which is on the increase.
Yeah, for me, it's something that we should call ourselves a question, because we have all the necessary security agencies that should be put in place to mitigate this. If it's in the river, we have the Navy. If it's in the land, we have the police, we have the army, and we also have the civil defense that is statutorily responsible for the protection of these critical assets. Yes. So at the end of the day, the question we need to ask is, are they being given the necessary tools to work? Or are the tools given not efficiently and effectively deployed? And if this is the case, I mean, the first thing, for instance, for our association, as the last critical mile in the distribution chain, we are very critical in solving this problem. And of course, we've offered to the government some of our ideas and the way we think that we can be able to mitigate this.
Before we go deep into those ideas, where is the place of technology in curbing this?
Technology is the most critical and the most dependable, because at the end of the day, no human being is going to be awake 24 hours a day. Yes, we can even do shifts to be able to monitor the seaways, we can monitor the land routes, we can monitor the illegal refinery sites, but nobody is going to be there 24/7. But if we deploy technology, there's a lot that can be done. Today, we are talking about the Black Hawk helicopter that is being used in several countries to mitigate terrorism, and the same tool can be deployed in ensuring that the pipelines are protected. Now, we also believe that technology that is on the spot, that is satellite-based, satellite-dependent, can assist in tracking down these perpetrators.
Is it available, and how affordable?
There is technology available all over. We as an association have even tried to develop something that will be useful to Nigeria and Nigerians and the industry and the security agencies.
Are you talking about the Petroleum Products Passport Initiative?
Exactly. We started that.
How does that work?
Well, I'll tell you how it works. The question I've asked is, when this quantum of petroleum product is, crude oil is stolen, what is it used for? It's either it is illegally exported or it is illegally refined. So in the two sides, there should be a strategy on how to mitigate them. If it is illegally refined, where will the refined products go to? Is it also going to be exported, or is going to be used within the country through our roads and through our retail outlets, or through facilities that depend on the use of diesel? Because most of these illegal refineries are not refining petrol, they are not refining PMS. They are refining at most a lot of diesel and just a minimal volume of DPK, kerosene, which may not be as efficient as the diesel.
Because the technology is not easily available to them.
It's not. But now what we have done as an association is to find out what is the issue. For instance, today, you don't see the kerosene tanks that used to litter the country, that created business for hundreds and thousands of Nigerians who were able to buy kerosene and sell. The kerosene stands are gone. Now, when you go to the retail outlets, you also see that the diesel pumps, the diesel dispensers are not busy as they are supposed to be. And we therefore ask ourselves, if our diesel pumps are not that busy, then that means something must be happening that we could be able to find. Of course, we set up our team to research, and we found out that most people that are using diesel are dependent on this type of illegally refined diesel. And so we cannot go and arrest anybody, but what we can do is to be able to protect our business, because it's our business. Our livelihood depends on that, our children, our health.
So Nigeria. How is this being protected? Is that where the Petroleum Products Passport comes to play?
The passport now is designed to make sure that every retail outlet is registered on a portal in the Petron portal, so that any product you sell any product you receive will be tracked.
Okay.
Now, once it is tracked, it's easy for the security agencies such as the civil defense that is more responsible for the critical asset protection of this country to be able to know that these products left X and Y station in Port Harcourt and is going to X and Y location in so areas, whether it is the product for the use in the service tanks or the product that is also already loaded in the tanks. So once this passport is deployed, it saves the process because there's going to be a single receipt of sale across the country. That's what the passport is about. The passport will have all the details of the driver, of the vehicle, of the quality of product, which is going to be approved by the downstream, midstream and downstream authority. And thereafter, we also seal it. We also seal it with what we call the 3P seal, the Petroleum Product Passport Seal, which is an electromechanical device that we have designed locally with minor technical technology twitches here and there that's very effective. You cannot open those seals once they are locked. So that will save us. We're going to demarket the illegally refined product, and then you cannot also smuggle Nigerian petroleum products anywhere. So of course,
Wow,
it's useful.
this is quite an
Yes,
innovative solution that has come on board. I hope it will be deployed soonest. Thank you so very much. For want of time, I think we'll get to talk more about this initiative in possibly our subsequent outing. For now, I want to say thank you so very much for sharing your thoughts with us at this particular point in time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Moving on, gold prices edged higher on Wednesday as concerns of an escalation in the Russia-Ukraine conflict increased safe haven bids for precious metals. Let's take a look at the commodities market. Stocks continued to advance at the Nigerian exchange this Wednesday, sustaining the week's record. At the close of trade, the all-share index stood at 47,367.31 basis points. Capitalization rose to 25.536 trillion naira. 391.889 million shares were traded in 5,419 deals, valued at 9.951 billion naira. Top trades were GT Co, Zenith Bank, and UBA. Let's take a look at market in the global scene.
Hello and welcome to the Global Market Review. European markets were mixed on Wednesday as the World Trade Organization WTO on Tuesday slashed its forecast for global trade growth this year to 3% from 4.7%. Meanwhile, investors are still digesting a key inflation print from the US and looked ahead to Thursday's European Central Bank meeting. DAX was 1% down, FTSE 0.05% and CAC 40 0.45%. Shares in Asia were mixed on Wednesday as investors watched for market reaction to the release of Chinese trade data. Mainland China's Shanghai Composite slipped 0.82% at 3,186.82, while the Hang Seng Index topped 0.26% across 21,374.37, and Nikkei also topped 1.93% at 26,843.49. Stocks future in the United States were higher in early trading Wednesday as Wall Street tried to recover from a downbeat session. Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.3%, S&P 500 0.33%, and the Nasdaq Composite also topped 0.44%. For the African market, most stocks were muted in early trading, like Ghana's GSA Composite and Nairobi's All Share. South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 and Namibia Overall Index were negative, while Tunisia's Tunidex topped 0.15% across 7,196.43. That's the Global Market Review. I am Boss De Able. Stay for the concluding part of the program.
Thank you, Bosede. And at this point, we say stay tuned for Business Express tomorrow morning, being Thursday.